Listen here, I was alone in this place at one point, and then all of a sudden, gunk.
Suddenly
It's pretty
penguin.
scary, innit? Gonk's a bit of a scary
Wow,
yourself.
fucking rude.
He's prickly cat eyes, to be honest.
It's the fact that uh, little dog and turnip keep saying take your eyes off because like the outer layer of my skin's eyes is on the hat layer, so they
Wait,
keep
let's
telling me
see.
take your eyes off.
Gonk,
Your
where are you?
eyes.
I'm
Gonk,
down at
Wait,
the
I
zombie
wanna
grinder.
see.
oh,
I
so
was
get you to take your eyes
alright.
off.
Yeah, come down to the actually. Hold on.
Everybody get down to the zombie grinder. We're gonna see Gonk take his eyes off.
I'm very curious now. Take your eyes off. I'm coming. I gotta see you.
Drop your chainmail, you shit. Oh, right. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Options, skin customization.
Wait, I'm coming.
You got too grey, but yeah, no, you look like a fish. You know, like a dead fish. That's what the eyes remind me of.
Let's see. Oh my god. That's horrifying.
Oh, zombie
Wait, what happens if I take my hat off? How do I do it?
Probably your eyebrows. Skin customization.
Wait,
Yeah,
are
it's just you lose a bit of your eyebrows.
Oh. He just put them on.
What?
He just put them on. They just appear, yeah, the eyebrows. What?
What do you mean? What? My skin's
Oh,
an
your
alien?
nose!
Wait, my nose as well.
Mate, Gonk, take your
Yeah.
shoes off. Take your shoes off. He's got little pink. He's got little blue toenails. Look.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got wee toes painted. Look. Wait, no, you're shifting. We can't see it. Wait, no. He's got little toenails painted. Why are your toes blue?
I don't know. Well, they are kind of sort of greyish on real penguins.
Right.
A
Okay.
sort of greyish claw-like. Emperor penguin. Not quite the same, but there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Don't know why I kind of don't know why they're blue.
You got your pedicure done, wee man.
Yeah. I'm trying to. If any of you happen to see any or find any chainmail armor anywhere, give it to me because I'm making a set of. I'm gonna make like a full set of like fully enchanted chainmail armor just for the memes.
This is gonna be like the netherite hole situation.
Yeah. Should I enchant a book or should I just enchant the first piece of the chainmail? Enchant chainmail actually. Let's see if I can get on the chainmail. And actually, if we've got enough mending books, I might also put mending on it. In ice, yes.
happened to your face?
What happened to your face?
What's wrong with your face?
Wait, have I not put the... I have put the that back on. Right,
Oh, so it's just normal?
wow, fucking rude.
Oh, sorry.
Right, I need a mending book as well. Why are you just sitting on Nicola? Right, prop 4. Let's see what I can get. Prop 4. Oh, all it gave me was prop 4. Fuck. Actually, you know what? There's an Unbreak 3 book in here. I'm just going to steal this Unbreak 3 book. Prop 4, Unbreak. There we go. There we go. Chainmail chestplate has now got prop 4, Unbreak 3, and mending on it. Because why not? Just you AFK. I think it's probably I think this is probably AFK. Wait, we still got that. We had an armor stand kicking about. We still got the armor stand somewhere.
I think it's in here. I kind of just dumped
Sure.
everything here last night, and yeah.
Oh, nice. If not, I think it's fairly easy to make an armor stand, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I know we put it somewhere.
Minecraft. Oh. Armor stand. It's a smooth stone slab. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but not too difficult to make, I suppose. Oh, there is that. Actually, there's the armor stand. Just see it. Just seeing it. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do.
We got any like plans?
Yeah, my plans are to get more armor. Get more chainmail armor and put ridiculous, even more ridiculous enchantments on it.
How'd you get chainmail?
I got them as drops from. There were drops from the zombies.
Oh, right. Oh, so I guess you're
Oh,
just gonna
that's
be
what I need to
using
say.
the spawner thing.
Yeah.
No.
Hopefully, all I need now actually is gloves. Sorry, boots and boots and a helmet.
How'd you repair?
Just using on a
Oh, I mean like chainmail. Like, do
anvil
you need
with
like
you just use iron.
iron, right?
Yeah, you can just use iron ingots.
So is it like a better version of iron, or is it just different?
I think it's hold on, +4. No, it's slightly worse.
Ah,
Which makes sense because it's not like full iron plate.
right.
It's chainmail links.
Yeah, this feels like chainmail kind of feels like something that they were planning on implementing, but just couldn't be
Yeah.
bothered, so they just left it as a mob drop.
You know what's bad about the sign, the forbidden armor? It's kind of like,
What?
don't press this button, and I kind of want to.
Oh wait, have you seen the zero durability chest plate?
Nope, nope, nope,
Oh
nope.
yeah.
Look to the right of the forbidden armor. There's a gold chest plate,
Don't wear it.
and don't put it on, but just take it out the frame and look at the durability. It's like zero durability. By all rights, it should have been broken, but it's not. Somehow.
Ooh.
Put it back
Whoa,
in.
I feel
Put it back in
like
the
I feel like
frame.
I didn't take it out. I swear, I swear, I swear.
No, it's fine to take it out. Just don't put it on, because if you could break it if you put it on. If you're just carrying it, you won't break it.
Oh, all right.
When you tell me not to do something, it makes me want to do something.
Oh, you put it on.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I
Yeah,
For
swear.
fuck's sake, did you?
I didn't. I
See
didn't.
if
I
it's
didn't.
see if it's broken. Swear to God,
Do you want me to test
I've got my
it out?
sword at the ready.
Oh shit! There's a bounce to the bed.
Yeah. You slightly bounce when you jump
Right,
on the bed.
that wasn't the case when I last played.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't really remember when that was the thing. That big of a thing, to be honest.
Look why I'm here. Okay, I gotta go.
What chest plate is that you're wearing, did you? Okay, good.
I'm wearing my own.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Oh yeah.
Suspicious character, you.
Yeah. Why? Because she's Australian.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, listen.
I mean, Australia was first criminalized, or first colonized by
Yes,
criminals,
it's
so you know.
criminalized. Big criminalized country.
Yeah. Criminal island.
Yep, that's what we used to call it. Then we called it Catholic Island because of all the
Catholic island.
Wasn't
Catholic
it
criminals
New
we
Holland?
forced to import. Yeah, it used to be called New Holland when it was the Dutch. When
Hmm.
the Dutch explored it, but we changed it because the Dutch couldn't be fucked to colonize Australia. They just didn't have the resources really. Well, you know what they could have. I mean, they had like like Indonesia used to be a Dutch colony.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm off. Good night. Bye. Goodbye. Have a good day. Bye. 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 Bye.
Oh, I whoever that was. Oh, bye, did you?
Yeah. Very sudden. That reminds me, there's this weird alternative history mod for Hearts of Iron. Takes place in 1933, but in an alternative universe where the United States is actually stays like the 13 colonies stay a part of the, are actually like still in the Empire. They failed their first rebellion. So like Australia and India are only partially colonized by the British.
Yeah.
So you've got like
right,
French
okay.
Australia, you've got like the German territories down in Tasmania,
Yeah.
the Dutch territories. It's a hodgepodge of like different European powers vying for the big island.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, well I've worked on that one as well. So interesting. It's that's how I'll put it. You kind of have like the big conflict of that mod is like France, who are like the Nazis of that universe. They're the like nationalist, anti-Semite power that was defeated in World War One. Germany was formed out of Austria. Prussia kind of like was like a. I think they're still independent, but they're aligned with Russia.
Yeah.
But most of Germany is a part of like the Austrian is an Austrian empire.
Alright.
And so like I think the king the emperor of Germany is Rudolf. Rudolf the First was like the son of Franz Josef, the one who killed himself.
Yeah.
But Rudolf
Right.
survives into his like 60s or whatever. But he's like on the verge of dying, and his successors. I think he doesn't have any children, so his like successors, like he's got disputed succession between
Right.
like Franz Joseph. Oh, there's this woman. I can't remember her name.
I'm gonna boost, ladies.
Oh, all right.
Bye.
You going to the gaff?
No, I'm going to my bed. I've got an early day tomorrow.
Wow. Hey, that's exciting.
I'm no gaff ready now. I've got hair rollers in. I look like a 20 million-year-old granny, right? Anyways, ciao.
See ya.
Bye, Felicia. Oof. Oof, that ping of 311. Oof.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, as I was saying, the woman, the female descendant, I don't know who she is, like in relation to Franz Josef, but she's referred to as like the Red Tsarina, or the Red Kaiserina, or something like that.
Right.
So she's a progressive socialist sympathizer who becomes empress. Well, that's one of the choices. You could also just go with like, yeah, I think Franz Josef has like two paths where he can go, where he can be like extremely conservative, like nationalistic, like pretty much like Hohenzollerns, Germany, or he can just be like status quo, kind of somewhat liberalized Germany. But overall, Germany is much more like liberal leaning. They're a proper like constitutional monarchy. Because Victoria, oh, that's a really weird fucking aspect of the mod. She fucking survives. She's still alive in 1933. Yes.
Hell, she'd be like.
Yeah, she'd be like
over 100 at
120
that
or something
point.
like that. Yeah, because she's got like cybernetics.
What?
Yeah, so this is a retro futuristic mod. I probably should have started off with that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Someone like some kind of like pro-Republican assassin tried to kill her in her 80s.
Yeah.
And she survived, but barely. But I think they, in the lore, she essentially had her brain transplanted into a younger body.
Hell,
with like loads of
it's
fucking
wild.
cybernetics. But yeah, it's a weird mod, but yeah, it's got a bunch of like I think they've got like um space warfare or orbital warfare as well. Um uh Trying to think what other highlights there are. Oh yeah, Edward the Eighth. So Victoria's children. Oh, actually, could it be Victoria's? No, I'm thinking. So Edward the Eighth. He's the son of King George, right? So I think yeah, her
He was the son of King
descendants.
George V.
Um, King George the Fifth. That's right. Yeah. So her grandchildren are like governors of each of
Yeah.
the like colonial establishments. Edward the Eighth, I
Right.
think, is in the United States. So when the I think it's called the Commonwealth of America. I'll double check the name, but when the Commonwealth of America, if it rebels against the Empire, they can essentially install Edward the Eighth as king of America.
Nice.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Oh yeah, if France wins against the United Kingdom, they split
Mhm.
it up. So Scotland becomes independent, but it really depends on the ideology as well. Like I think
Yeah.
the monarchists, yeah, like it'll like the government that comes about from being released from the United Kingdom is highly dependent on who happens to be who happens to win the war. So they've got
Yeah.
like a monarchist path, a fascist path, and a communist totalist path, which is like Stalin essentially.
Yeah.
I think the communist leader of France is actually like the lover of Lenin. Lenin's lover, who was French.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Which I didn't know about until I played the mod.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many like cool alternative history scenarios. I'm not sure if I told you about this, but there's this one called Kaiserreich, which is World War Two if World War One was won by Germany and the Ottomans.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting one.
so yeah, Wilhelm II is still the emperor of Germany.
Mm.
Germany still holds on to um, uh, Alsace-Lorraine. I think they even take bits even further in. Um,
Yeah.
Nantes or Nantes or something like that. Um, what else? Oh yeah, so France and the United Kingdom after losing the war, after the occupation of Paris, fall to communist revolts, and so the respective governments of the United Kingdom and France have exiled themselves to Canada and the North Africa.
All right.
Yeah, so the North African French administration is currently under the control of Philippe Pétain, who who in World War Two was the leader of Vichy France, fascist France.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, he kind of has a similar position in Kaiserreich. He's kind of like a um, how should I put it? He's like a placeholder almost, um, a leader of the provisional government, um,
Yeah.
which can go, m- one of many ways. Like he can hold on to power. You know, he can restore elections to the government. In fact, one of the paths that you can take when you restore elections to the government is you can elect Napoleon the Fourth. Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. Who's like the like liberal one of the liberal candidates. He can
Yeah.
choose to either like enact bring back the empire or just stay as president.
Yeah.
So he's not just an autocrat. Um yeah. Oh yes, in Canada, of course. So you've got like, you know, George V and his family flee to Canada. And so there's a bunch of stuff that goes on with that, like the Quebecois could revolt and defeat defeat the Entente before they could even like retake the Isles
Yeah.
if you stuff it up badly.
Wildly.
Um, Edward VIII can be assassinated and be replaced by any one of his siblings. In fact, actually, I think several of those guys can get assassinated. Some of his siblings can be governor generals in other Entente territories, like India or Australasia, which is a thing. So Australia and New Zealand formed Australasia, plus the Southeast Pacific territories. You've also got the West Indies Confederation, which is like a mix of the English and French colonies in the Caribbean, plus Belize. I think there's a point in the game during the Quebecois revolts where Edward VIII can dissolve Parliament and just rule by decree, which is extremely unpopular with the Canadians, which can lead to its own revolts of just Canada revolting against the king. You've also got like government in exile mechanics, so you've got like, you know, not just the Prime Minister of Canada, but also the Prime Minister of Britain occupying the same parliament.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, the United States doesn't join World War One, and they're economically much worse off than they were in our timeline. And especially with the syndicalist uprisings in the Entente territories. You kind of have that domino effect. Yeah, anarcho-syndicalists. Yeah, they have like, there's a range of like, the ideology is somewhat like varied. You have like, you know, your radical socialists, which are like closer to your classical communists. And then you've got like the totalists who are like, and that's even that is a pretty wide range of stuff. But it's mostly like authoritarian, at times anti-Semitic, or nationalistic style of anarcho-communism, syndicalism.
Right.
So, what's his name? Oswald Mosley is a totalist anarcho-syndicalist. Yeah. He's a pretty popular one in the Kaiserreich community. But yeah, so I was mentioning the anarcho-syndicalists because they won in the United Kingdom and France. And you kind of have that domino effect, like syndicalism kind of spread to the United States, and especially considering the economic situation in the United States is much worse, that kind of just like increased the support for the syndicalists in that regard. You've also got rising like nationalism and fascism also in the United States. But most of the time, the United States falls to a civil war, a three-way civil war between let's see. So it's the Federalist government, which is usually run by Douglas MacArthur, the field marshal from World War II.
Oh yeah.
From the Pacific Theater. So he coups the government essentially after the Civil War factions kind of start cementing their support in the territories in the North and the South.
Right.
So he kind of he coups the government in the last week or two before the Civil War actually starts. And in fact, one could argue he's the reason why it starts and why it escalates so much. So you've got him as the official federal government of the United States.
Yeah.
In the North, you've got the anarcho-syndicalist faction under Jack Reed, who I think in our timeline was a communist or anarchist newspaper editor. Which, I mean, yeah, like Lenin and Trotsky, you know, they're all pretty much in similar professions. I think in the South you've got the Kingfish. I can't remember his name. Is it Jack Lang? No, that's the Australian guy. I'll search up his name, but he's essentially like this. He's like a socialist light, but he's like a populist. He's essentially like I wouldn't even call him a dictator. He's in a weird position, right? He's a populist, left-leaning faction leader who aligns himself with fascists. Yeah, he's a weird one. He's like the broad tent, like big tent faction.
Yeah.
But he's pretty popular, and if he does win, it's unlikely that he'll ever lose his position as president of the United States.
Yeah.
I think the best kind of way to describe it is it's like authoritarian democratic.
Right.
Where maybe technically you have multiple parties, but the one party gets elected every time.
Yeah.
Kaiserreich. Huey Long. Huey Long, that's his name. So he was
Huey Long, yeah.
Yeah, he was like the governor of Louisiana or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People call him the Long Dong in the community. But I think in our timeline he was pretty progressive as well, but he was also very he had very suspicious tactics. Like he was known for intimidating his opposition into getting what he wanted. But he was somewhat liberal and dare I say progressive for a politician, even a more. I'd say back then. I think back then is probably a better metric.
Yeah.
Because now being liberal is progressive. But yeah, he sides with like the Silver Legion, who were like proper Nazis, which is insane. But but I think it kind of makes sense in a way because he does resort to those kinds of tactics, and his support, his like power base is kind of mixed, we should say, in spite of his politics. Oh, and then you've got in the West, so this would be California, Oregon, Washington, the Pacific States of America, which which is essentially it forms if Douglas MacArthur takes over the government, and so the Pacific
Yeah.
states are essentially like uh, the exiled, senators and representatives, who of course completely disagree with MacArthur's coup, and they just start their
Yeah.
own government in the West. So you've got like unorthodox candidates who pop up in the Pacific states, like Quentin Roosevelt, who I think in our timeline, yeah, so he's like the fourth or fifth child of Theodore Roosevelt, but in our timeline he dies
All right.
in like 1919 or whatever. Um, but he can become the leader of the progressive branch of the Democratic Party. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, yeah, North America is one of the bigger like players in that mod. Oh man. Oh yeah, Mussolini. Yeah, he's a socialist. I think he's a totalist in yeah s-
The fuck?
in wherever he is in this in the socialist states up in North Italy.
Yeah.
Italy breaks up into like 4 or 5 different states with
All right.
I think in Sicily and Naples you've got the Kingdom of Two Sicilies.
Yeah.
In Sardinia, you've got the successor state to the official um, um, Italian government under Amadeo the First, so who I think is like the cousin of Victor Emmanuel.
Right.
Um, so Sardinia is like Entente aligned. The Two Sicilies is like kind of neutral. Um, I think they're mainly like pro-regionalist Italian, so they're fine with like a certain amount of autonomy. If they conquer the rest of Italy, then they'll just be like it'll be like the Holy Roman Empire of Italy, essentially, where
Yeah.
it's like fairly like really decentralized states. Um, and you've got in the north, you've got the Republic of Italy, which is like Venice and Lombardia. So it's just 2 small states, which is Austria aligned. Um,
Yeah.
which can go fascist as well, I think. So, and they can
Oof.
fight the Austrians as well, which I've actually tried and done and won somehow. Um,
Nice.
yeah. And then of course you've got the socialists. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with like they're not the socialists. They're the anarcho-syndicalists. But the only one I know is Mussolini, who's in the totalist authoritarian path. He dresses up like a fucking mobster, and in fact, which is actually kind of fitting because one of his focus trees, which is like a narrative path that you can go down, um, he can actually like appease the mafia and actually work with them. He's mafioso light, essentially. Oh yeah, and of course,
Yeah.
Austria-Hungary is like still what was that?
I know it's okay to say if you're not you said you weren't familiar with some of the anarcho syndicalists. I might be more familiar with some of them.
Oh,
It's,
right. I think there's a guy named Togliatti. Palermo
no, I'm
Togliatti.
there.
I'll get the names.
Maybe not actually. Maybe not actually. Okay.
I'm probably getting his name wrong, but uh, I almost got it right. Palmiro Togliatti.
I don't actually recognize him. I think I'm with the name.
All right, let's see. Fourth Congress. Bubbly bob bob bob. is this? Oh, this is recent. Giacomo Matteotti.
I think I recognize that name. Yeah. Hold on,
Giuseppe
Matteotti.
Romita.
No.
Alceste de
Hold on. What was Giacomo?
Giacomo
What was it?
Matteotti.
Matteotti. Italian socialist politician. He was a politician. Hmm.
I'll just give you
Didn't
a
know that.
picture of. Mafioso Benito Mussolini.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I know it looks so good. Oh, it's such a good game though. There's also this this mod, a sub mod for Kaiserreich called Kaiser Redux, which is like wacky alternative history paths. Where in the United States, with the syndicalists, you could actually have the crime syndicates take over, with like Al
Oh,
Capone and
nice.
Lucky Luciano and shit. It's so good.
Nice.
There's also an Arizona path, so I don't know how Arizona uh revolts, but you can get like cowboy um like a cowboy revolt in the United States. I don't know. I think it might be if you go totalist, because the totalists are pretty unpopular in the United States because they're authoritarian. Um yeah. Yeah. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, and you've also got the Papal States.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, so they're independent as well. Um, I think everyone but the Papal States are capable uh, of taking like forming the Kingdom of Italy. I think the Papal States,
Right.
uh, they're currently in just in the Latium Roma state. But they can
Yeah.
branch out and take all the papal, the like historical papal states territories in Romania.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, yeah. Um, but of course, like being the papal states, it's extremely difficult to do that. Like, I think the only time I've ever seen the papal states actually take back their historical territories is if someone else helps them. Um,
All right. Yeah.
there's an option in when you invade Italy as an external power, you can like balkanize Italy into even smaller pieces, so you can turn the Republic
Yeah.
of Italy into like the respective Medina and Lombardia and Venetia like city-state uh
Yeah.
stuff. Um
That's
yeah, yeah, it's one of the
interesting.
cooler features of Kaiserreich balkanization. You can do the same with the United Kingdom if you win there, as Germany. I think in Scotland, Ruprecht of Bavaria actually becomes the king of Scotland if you win as Germany.
Weird. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Though that doesn't last for very long because the Scottish, of course, don't like the idea of being ruled by a German king. So usually there's a revolt, like a year or two after the occupation starts. Um, yeah. Oh man, what else? France is pretty boring, or at least it's fairly vanilla as far as things go. They're kind of like the Nazis. No, not ideologically,
Mm.
but in terms of like the reason why World War II happens, their big goal is to request Alsace-Lorraine from Germany in like
Right.
1939. So that's 3 years from the start date. So yeah, the AI is if you I think it'll always happen whether you're playing on like AI railroaded like narrative tree or not.
Right.
Like it has to happen because otherwise the game, wouldn't make much sense. Yeah, so they're like the big reason for the war. I think there's a big dispute in like 1937, 1938 where they can request the French territories in Switzerland, so that's Romandy. Also, Switzerland took Savoy, Haute Savoy,
Oh,
from France when France fell to the revolts. I think the excuse
yeah.
was we're holding on to it until the legitimate government comes back, the situation is resolved. Either party wins and will give back the
Yeah.
land, but in reality they're not going to give back the land. But France has a big thing where they'll request the land back, and so there's like this mechanic where Switzerland can request support from their neighbors, so from the German Empire or Switzerland. Um, and most of the time, Germany and Austria ignore them, which is kind of mirroring like our timeline with the whole like appeasement thing.
Yeah.
So usually when that happens, Switzerland kind of either falls to anarcho-syndicalists, and so they become an ally of the Second Internationale, which I think it is
Yeah.
this game, or
Right.
um, or they fall to nationalist populist revolts, which are essentially this universe's version of the fascists. So I think
Right.
I'm not sure, it might be it might be a French um, Swiss general who takes over. And
Hmm.
yeah, so one of his goals in the game is to form like Greater Switzerland, which takes even more territories from like France and Italy, like Ticino and uh like all of Savoy, I think, which is
Oh,
like
no.
massive chunk of land. It looks really fucking ugly.
Yeah.
I'll just get a picture of it. Yeah, I've actually done it before. It's actually pretty difficult because you can't actually ally anyone. You're on your own. Like no, you are extremely unpopular as like um as the like fascist Swiss. Oh yeah, and they also take Vorarlberg as well from the Austrians. I'm not sure if they have this still in the game, but if you get the totalists in power, so this would be Mosley, and you stuff it up, then T. Lawrence can take over and actually bring the monarchy back. I think they got rid of that. But yeah, T. Lawrence is still alive. Which I think in our timeline he dies in a motorcycle accident in like 28. But yeah, T. Lawrence is he's a potential not sure. I think he's just a normal anarcho syndicalist, like post Mosley anarcho syndicalist leader. Oh yeah, Germany. So Germany in 1936 is still ruled by uh, Kaiser Wilhelm II. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty much the same as he was in our timeline. The government under his regime is very much authoritarian and somewhat controlled by him. There's some autonomy within Parliament, but he pretty much determines a lot of a lot of what goes into policy making and stuff like that and legislation. He's a yeah. Um, but he can liberalize the country. He could even allow the socialists, the anarcho-syndicalists, to do their thing in
Yeah.
Germany, which is yeah, gameplay wise is a very it can lead to a civil war because the
Alright.
anarcho-syndicalists are like pretty strong like agitators in the country. So yeah, that can be problematic. I usually go like full authoritarian with Wilhelm. But yeah, so I think the Great Depression happens in the United States, but Germany's economy is um like fairly strong on its own, so they don't really suffer the effects. However, in 1936, 1937, they do have their own market collapse, which kind of reverberates across the globe, similar to the Great Depression, even perhaps even worse. Um, so a big portion of the game is just you trying to fix your economy before World War Two happens. Um, so a lot of it like is includes selling off colonial possessions like Ceylon or like borrowing loans, um,
Yeah.
getting the Mittel Europa um, uh, like territories. Oh yes, so the Brest-Litovsk treaty was enforced, and so you still have like White Ruthenia, um, Lithuania, the United Baltic Duchy, and Ukraine as
Right.
like independent or semi-independent territories, though they are strongly aligned, and you could even argue that they are kind of like puppet states.
Yeah.
Hello. And yeah, a bunch of those territories have like German or Austrian like kings. Like Ukraine is an example that they've got a von Habsburg as their king. I think Poland's law has changed that they've got a Hohenzollern king. And the United Baltic Duchy has like some kind of mechanic where they can like Germanize because it's a fairly they've like Riga historically was a very like German territory, so there's like a whole thing with them like exporting that to the rest of the Baltic duchies and even fully annexing themselves within Germany,
Yeah.
which admittedly I've played and it's not particularly interesting. um, but yeah, Yeah, there's also because of the whole Brest-Litovsk thing, that is a pretty big point of contention with Russia, who along the line, who almost simultaneously with the anarcho-syndicalists will declare war on Germany to take back those territories, and fully annex them within the Russian realm. Though Russia by 1939 can be anything from anarcho-syndicalistic to monarchist to fascist to whatever. Massive potential for that. And even with like multiple like monarchist paths as well.
I think I'm probably gonna head off, man. I'm falling asleep here.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting here falling
Yeah,
asleep.
must be
It's pretty late. See you later.
So yeah.